Diamondbacks franchise rose from the desert in 1998, clothed in purple and teal, playing under the hot Arizona sun, yet boasting a glorious pool and retractable roof. 1998 was the start of an amazing run.
Diamondbacks are on the board with their first run.
As the years rolled on, the stars of Arizona baseball shone brightly. Incredible moments.
A big-time debut for Brentley.
Priceless memories.
Diamondbacks going to the NLCS.
And one incredible night.
I can get used to this.
Tonight we honor Diamondbacks past while celebrating the future of this proud franchise. Players will don the purple and teal. Fans will look back and smile. Welcome to Throwback Thursday.
Welcome indeed. It's Throwback Thursday. This season, the D-backs paying tribute to their history by wearing their alternate home vest uniform worn from 1998 to 2006. Every Thursday home game this season will see the purple and teal back out at Chase Field. And tonight, the first of 7 Throwback Thursdays this year, the retro purple and teal colored across the ballpark. Hashtag D-backs Throwback on Fox Sports Arizona. And good evening from Chase Field. Welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthume, Bob Brentley along the way. The first Throwback Thursday. The purple is all over the ballpark here tonight, BB, as we open up a 4-game series with the San Diego Padres. As we know, the Padres got a whole bunch of new players in the offseason, including Will Myers from Tampa Bay. Now, when he was with the Rays, Myers was a middle-of-the-order bat, but Bobby's been leading off for the Padres, and he's leading the major leagues in runs scored.
Yeah, he scored 25 runs already on this season, which speaks not only to Will Myers' ability to get on base and get on the plate, but the guys in the lineup behind him driving him in. And by all accounts, he's played a tremendous defense in center field, which was also a question going into the season.
Now on the mound for the Diamondbacks tonight, it's Ruby De La Rosa. He's up against Odrisamer Despaigne. The Padres, with all their new players, are very right-hand heavy. Only a few left-hand bats in the lineup for Bud Black and San Diego tonight. That bodes well for Ruby De La Rosa.
Yeah, Ruby De La Rosa, he's looked really good against everybody, but he's looked especially good against the right-handed hitters this year. He's dominated, striking out nearly 37% of the right-handed batters he's faced this year. Yeah, Bud Black tried to mix in a few lefties in the lineup tonight, but he's going to face some right-handers. We'll see what happens.
D-backs and Padres, Despaigne, De La Rosa, Throwback Thursday, the first of 7 Throwback Thursdays this year. Well, how do the players like the look? We'll ask them when we come back, and then it's first pitch to D-backs and the Padres. Throwback Thursday on Fox Sports Arizona.
to first pitch on this Ruby Thursday, which is also Throwback Thursday, as the current Diamondbacks pay tribute to some of the good old days sporting the old purple and teal uniforms. Now, for Chip Hale and many members of the coaching staff, these uniforms mean a lot as they spent some of their coaching and playing days in these uniforms. But for the current squad, as they put on the purple today, there was a sense of pride that came with it.
It's pretty cool. It's pretty special. I think it looks pretty sharp, and you know, as long as the fans like it, I think that we're more than happy to wear it.
Love the throwback jerseys. Reminds me of when I was in high school. So back when they won the World Series, I love it.
It's good. It's good. I wore it last year. It was good. So it's good. Well, I mean, it's a good thing for the fans too. They're gonna love that.
Now, the players told me whenever they step out on the field, they want to win. But on special days like today, when they're sporting the purple and teal, they really want to go out there and get the W. And after scoring 18 runs yesterday, and the Padres had 9, we're expecting a high-powered offense. We'll find out. First pitch is on the other side.
Following their offensive explosion in sweeping yesterday's doubleheader at Colorado, where they combined for 18 runs on 31 hits, and winning both games against the Rockies. Second meeting of the year, the D-backs and the Padres. San Diego won 2 of 3 at Petco Park last month. Diamondbacks won the opener there 8-4, but lost the final 2 games of that series 5-1 and 3-2. So hoping to change their fortunes against the Padres starting tonight. Your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, 26-year-old right-hander Ruby De La Rosa, his 6th start. 2-2 with a 5.40 ERA. He has been very good in stretches so far with the Diamondbacks. The key for Ruby, as always, avoid that one big mistake pitch. He's already, Bob, given up 6 home runs this year.
Yeah, an unusually high total for a hard thrower like Ruby De La Rosa this early in the season. Just a couple of starts removed from his best outing of the year against the Pirates. Went 7 innings, gave up 4 hits and 1 run in that game. See the arsenal for Ruby De La Rosa. A lot of fastballs, a lot of changeups. He'll mix in the slider as he sees necessary against the righties.
The purple and teal all over the ballpark here as we have our first of 7 Throwback Thursdays in 2015. Will Myers leads it off for the Padres. Swing and a miss, and we are underway in downtown Phoenix. Myers hitting .274 on the year with 4 homers. Padres won at San Francisco yesterday 9-1. Myers was 3 for 6 in that game. Right back to the mound. 2 pitches, 1 out for Ruby De La Rosa. Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks defensively around their right-hander.
Tough to pick a lineup today. So many offensive stars in that doubleheader yesterday, but it's going to be David Peralta in left, Ender Inciarte in center, Mark Trumbo in right, Yasmani Tomas at third, Nick Ahmed, Chris Owings make up the double play combo up the middle, Paul Goldschmidt at first base, with Tuffy Gosowicz doing the catching for Ruby De La Rosa.
Corey Spangenberg looks at strike one. Chad Fairchild is our plate umpire tonight. Spangenberg hitting .289 for the year, getting the start at second base. Not too many left-hand choices for Bud Black to put in there against Ruby De La Rosa. We talked about that in our open. So Spangenberg makes just his 7th start this year. He's hit over .330 when he's been in the starting lineup. A former first-round pick who's become something of a super utility guy here in his rookie season.
Yeah, really the only lefty not in the lineup tonight, Will Venable. He was on the cover of their media guide last year. Can't get in the lineup this year.
He's become a forgotten man. That one misses away, and it's 3-1. Spangenberg, a big day yesterday. 3 for 5 in their win over the Giants. Puts this one up in the air to deep left center field. Peralta Inciarte out there. David has it right in front of the wall for allowed out number 2. A lineup for Bud Black, San Diego Padres.
We've seen Will Myers at the top. He'll be out in center field. Corey Spangenberg at second base. Matt Kemp out in right. Former D-back Justin Upton out in left field. Jan Hervis Solarte at third base.
Nailed it.
Yeah. Derek Norris doing the catching. Yonder Alonso at first base. Alexi Amarista at shortstop. And Odrisamer Despagne on the mound.
Spangenberg, Solarte, Amarista, Despagne, all kinds of letters in there. Matt Kemp, that's easy to say.
It's like a jumble, you know. You just arrange them any way you want.
Matt Kemp, .291 on the season, still just 1 home run. And that 1 homer came back on April 18th. That was 17 games ago. Bounce to third. It's under the glove of Yasmani Tomas and into left. A little short hop, perhaps a bit too short for Tomas down there at third. And the Padres have a 2-out base runner.
I think one of the toughest things for a guy learning third base as a new position is when to charge, when to hold your ground, and when to retreat. And you have to do it quickly, very quickly. They've given that a hit.
They put a base hit up on the board.
Wow. And more often than not, you're better served charging the ball, trying to smother that short hop, than holding your ground and playing one of those medium hops.
That's a pretty pretty gracious single there, but we'll take it. Upton, .294 and 7 homers. .95 misses upstairs. It's 1-0. Justin Upton this year getting on base at a .360 clip. And good numbers career against the Diamondbacks, over .370 with 5 homers. He was 5 for 11 in the series at Petco Park last month, homered twice. The 1-0 to Upton. He homered against the Diamondbacks in the first meeting between these two teams this year. That was a big one. One of them, the 8th inning that broke up a 2-2 tie and won the ball game for the Padres. Had 2 homers in that series. It's a big cut at that one. It's a ball and a strike. He said last month that obviously the first time he came back here to Arizona, that was with the Atlanta Braves a couple of years ago, there was a little adrenaline there and he had a big series. But now Upton says playing against his former club, really they're just another team.
Yeah, the faces change, the names change, new managers, some new coaches, new front office. It's not even the same team Justin Upton remembers from his days here in the desert.
Both these teams have certainly changed over the last year or so.
Program sales are way up.
High strike call there by Chad Fairchild, and De La Rosa's ahead of 0-2 strikes.
De La Rosa has enough fastball to jam any hitter in this Padres lineup. He just needs to make sure he puts it in a good spot. Justin Upton very dangerous when he gets those arms extended.
Kemp holds it first, and that one is fouled back.
Right in on his hands. Not exactly where Tuffy was set up, but a very effective pitch nonetheless. That tailing fastball right in on the knuckles of Justin Upton. He hit that down on the pine tar of the bat.
Was coming to eat that fastball. He strikes out Justin Upton. First strikeout for Ruby De La Rosa, who strands the 2-out single. We are underway on Throwback Thursday here at Chase Field. Two rained-out games. The Diamondbacks offense exploded in a doubleheader sweep of the Rockies yesterday, and we'll see if they can continue that against your Arizona Ford starting pitcher for the Padres, 28-year-old Cuban right-hander Odrisamer Despaigne, his 7th appearance of the year, just his 3rd start. Here's Diamondbacks hitting coach Turner Ward.
Yeah, we're going to see the kitchen sink out of a guy like this. You know, he's pitched well against us. He's a guy who relies on his command. You know, we're gonna, you know, we want to attack him like we try to attack most pitchers. We want to hit into a zone and stay in that zone and try to, you know, really put the ball and play hard.
And Inciarte looks at strike one from Despaigne. 2-0, a 2.95 ERA. He's pitched just over 21 innings this year, both as a starter and a reliever, and he's given up only 12 hits. He's tough.
Kitchen sink, that's a good way to put it, Turner Ward. I mean, we've seen Despaigne. He'll change arm angles. He'll change speeds on all of his pitches. You rarely see two deliveries alike in a row. He has to rely on cunning out there on the mound, changing the speeds and moving the ball around, trying to keep the D-backs hitters off balance.
This is away there, 1-2. Ender in the leadoff spot, playing center field tonight. A.J. Pollock has the night off. Hitting .320 on the year. The on-base percentage for the season is over .350. And Ender had a 4-hit day in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday at Coors Field. Drove in a pair of runs and scored twice, but he was 0 for 5 in the second game.
Did make a couple of really nice defensive plays in game 2. Lifts that in the air out toward Upton in left field.
And there's one away in the bottom of the first. The lineup for Chip Hale's Arizona Diamondbacks.
Inciarte in center field and leading it off. Mark Trumbo out in right field, once again batting second, followed by Paul Goldschmidt at first. David Peralta out in left field. Yasmani Tomas at third base. Chris Owings at second. Tuffy Gosawish doing the catching. Nick Ahmed at shortstop, and Ruby De La Rosa on the mound.
Yeah, so back in the 2-hole, it's big Mark Trumbo. This worked out really well in the first game of the doubleheader yesterday. Mark had game 2 off. And he's in there at 295 now, up to 14 RBIs. The homer yesterday is third of the year.
Mark, one of only a couple of D-backs that have any kind of career numbers against Despaigne. Trumbo 4 for 11 lifetime. He's also drawn a walk. David Peralta, the other D-back, 4 for 10 lifetime.
This is well hit down the left field line, and that ball is gone. A home run. Mark Trumbo is 4th of the year, and it's 1-0 D-backs on Throwback Thursday. The 2-hole agrees with Mark Trumbo.
Nice approach that time on an off-speed pitch, and we'll say that a lot tonight for Despaigne. He throws a variety of off-speed pitches. Left that change up on the inner third of the plate, and what a swing by number 15. That looks good on him.
And here comes Goldie. Well, the 15 number looks great in the purple and the teal and the whole thing. I forget who wore that back in 01. Memory escapes. I have to look that up. Paul Goldschmidt, 7th in the National League and hitting at 340.
Was it Brent Brady?
It was Bob Baxter?
Dan Herron, maybe?
Goldie's 2nd in the league in RBIs. He's 4th in OPS. It was Bob Brenly. We know. We're just kidding around.
Yeah, it's funny. Somebody asked us last year, how do players get their numbers when they get called up to the big leagues from the minors, or they come to a new team via trade? How do you get your number? And usually it's just whatever is hanging in your locker when you get there. And that was the case with me and the Giants. Mike Ivey had moved along and left San Francisco. Nobody had number 15, so it was given to me.
Kemp backing up in the right field corner. And he runs that one down for out number 2. 3 deep fly balls here for the Diamondbacks so far against Odrisamer Despaigne. And here are the Padres defensively around their right-hander.
Well, we've seen Justin Upton at work out in left field. We've seen Matt Kemp at work out in right field. Will Myers probably get the next fly ball in center. Hervey Solarte at third. Alexi Amarista at short. Corey Spangenberg at second base. Yonder Alonso over at first. Derek Norris doing the catching for the right-hander Odrisamer Despaigne.
Outfield for the Padres so far, Upton, Myers, Kemp, left to right, has actually been pretty good. Everybody thought it might be kind of a horror show out there, but for the most part, they've been all right so far this year. Peralta fouls that one off, and he's down 0-1.
And I mentioned it in the open. Will Myers was a little bit of a question mark out there in center field. They weren't quite sure what they were going to get from him, but he's such a good athlete. He's learning to take the proper lines to the ball, and as I mentioned in the open, by all reports, he's played a very solid center field.
And the Padres with the overshift on the right-hand side for Peralta. Despaigne misses inside. It's a ball and a strike. David at 236 on the year. Had a big 2-run double in the second game at Colorado yesterday. Boy, those uniforms look good. Rolls that one down the first base line.
The vertical pinstripes are so slim. I really like it.
We need all the help we can get.
Yes, indeed.
The view from the batter's box suite. That can be your seat. Just call that number here at Chase Field. Don't bump the camera into the glass, though. 2-2. It happens. It's you know, that's why the birds always fly into the window, right? Mitch, she's down. She's looking up here at me like, really? By the way, belated happy anniversary. I know we mentioned it last week.
Absolutely.
It's a family affair here on the broadcast. Next step is to get the purple matte helmets. Then we'll really have something going deep.
That would be a really nice look.
2 balls and 2 strikes to David Peralta.
I mean, David's really into the evening here. He's even got purple on his shoes tonight.
We got our purple shirts. Purple shoelaces. Purple and teal all over the ballpark. All the Diamondback staffers wearing the purple shirts tonight on the first of 7 Throwback Thursdays this year. Peralta fights it off and dunks it down into left center field. 2-out single for Peralta. That brings up Yasmani Tomas.
David looked awkward as he rounded first base down there. Went back to the bag and asked for timeout from first base umpire Jim Joyce. Not sure exactly what happened. You see the little floater out into shallow left center. And right there as Peralta kind of stumbled on his right foot and then planted hard after he rounded the bag once again. You can see the grimace on the face right there as he goes back to the bag.
Well, no sign of the trainers from the Diamondback dugout. Peralta will stay in the game. And here's Tomas. At .310 on the year now with 7 RBIs, a pair of extra base hits.
I'll tell you, partner, more than any other hitter in the Diamondbacks lineup, Yasmani Tomas benefits from having a runner on first base.
How's that? How
We've seen him hit ground ball after ground ball after ground ball to the right side of the field, and with Alonso holding on Peralta over there at first, you could drive a semi truck through that right side.
That is right where Tomas tends to hit his balls, with that inside out swing just like that. He's only struck out 5 times all year. The on base percentage is right at .370. And Tomas in the first game yesterday had 3 consecutive RBI singles. And he's really become a productive bat in this lineup as of late. One and two. In fact, dating back to the series against the Rockies here at Chase Field early part of last week, Yasmani Tomas 9 hits and 7 RBIs over his last 6 games. So they're really getting some production. Two and two. Look down to Andy Green at third. A roller in the hole and into left, a base hit. Peralta stops at second. And a pair of 2-out base runners now for Chris Owings.
Second baseman, number 16, Chris Owings.
Chris Owings at .207 for the year, and he's fighting it a bit right now, CO. He's in a 4 for 29 at the plate. Well, a beautiful night here in downtown Phoenix. The roof and the panels open. Later on, we'll have to check in with Ralph Kelso for the Ralph Kelso spot-on weather forecast, see what we're looking at for the weekend. But if tonight is any indication, it is just gorgeous. We really, Bob, I think could have used Ralph Kelso, especially in Denver, when we fought all that weather.
Especially the first night in there, whoever was responsible for making the decision on whether to cancel the game or not needed all the help they could get.
That's where Ralph tends to come in handy. There's Ralph now that he's on the executive council and everything. Ralph, let's check in with you while we have a moment here after that foul ball. What are we looking at here for the next 4 days?
Beautiful weather the next 4 days. I've been guaranteed the roof is going to be open. So get down here, folks.
That is the Ralph Kelso spot-on weather forecast, a staple of all the broadcasts here from Chase Field.
And Ralph is right on the money. We highly recommend you get down here and take advantage of this great weather. Roof and panels wide open.
Yeah, this is just perfect. This is what you're looking for here. In fact, I think they can just keep everything open the whole weekend, even when we're not playing here. Usually they open and close things accordingly, but they can just leave it open all weekend long.
Yeah, let the field get some sunlight. You know, on occasion, especially when we're leaving for a road trip, you'll see the grounds crew pull those big carts with the lights on them.
Oh, the artificial lights.
Yeah, the artificial lights for different areas of the field that may need a little extra sunshine.
Another 0-2 to Chris Owings. 2 on, 2 out. A run in on the Trumbo homer. Bounces that one. It kicks away from Norris, and the runners move up.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Despaigne will do this all night long. Bounce breaking balls, bounce change-ups. Derek Norris tried to square that one up, but it hit on the side of his chest protector and goes over into the on-deck circle, first base side.
Despaigne laboring through what so far has been a 27-pitch first inning. Boy, Will Myers in center field is really shallow. Owings check swing. Here comes Peralta, and he scores. You saw the home plate umpire, Chad Fairchild, check with Jim Joyce down at first. That was a check swing on a 2-strike count. But Joyce says no go, and it's 2-0 Diamondbacks. And Tomas is in at third. Let's see.
Got underneath the glove. That could very easily be a pass ball, but since it did hit the dirt, I'm pretty sure that'll be ruled a wild pitch as David Peralta comes storming home. That has indeed been called a pass ball.
So 2-0 Diamondbacks. Tomas at third now, and it's a 2-2 count on Chris Owings. Will Myers in right center field. Look how shallow he is. That's in the seats and on the play. And Kemp in right field is very shallow as well.
And guarding the line out there in right. This is kind of a defensive shift in the outfield. You'd play for a left-handed pull hitter.
Trying to pick up that runner from third. Owings gets it in the air along the right field line. Kemp near foul ground, and it's in the seats.
I tell you, I'm a little surprised as you get a look at the most first inning runs this season. Dodgers with 24, D-backs right on their tail with 21, tied with the Rockies. A little surprised that the Padres overshift as much as they do with a pitcher on the mound that likes to mess around and change speeds, and he'll throw a 65-mile-an-hour curveball, then a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Those are the kind of pitchers that's tough to really shift on them too much.
Tried to drop the breaking ball in there, but he missed at 69 miles an hour, and it's full 3 balls and 2 strikes. Tuffy Gozawish would be next. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, 2 runs in, and Yasmani Tomas standing down there at third base. Base hit, 3-0 D-backs. A big 2-out hit there by Chris Owings. And Despaigne is really having some issues now, already at 32 pitches in the first, and he's down 3-0.
Diamondbacks better approach tonight on the off-speed deliveries by Despaigne. In the time we saw him down in San Diego, everybody was just jumping at the motion, way out in front of everything, but hitters staying back a little bit better tonight, keeping their hands back, and it's paying off.
Darren Balsley, the pitching coach, out there to talk to Despaigne, who's given up 4 hits in the inning. And Tuffy Gozawish steps up now with 3 runs in, and Owings the runner at first.
Hey fans, anytime the D-backs score 5 runs or more, Taco Bell is giving away 3 free tacos with the purchase of a large drink between 4 and 6 the following day at participating locations.
Diamondbacks continue to get some timely hits. We saw that a whole lot in both games yesterday. Tuffy, little flare down the left field line, and it drops in a fair ball. Owings is flying around third. Here's the throw, and he is in there. 4-0 Diamondbacks. He dropped it into no man's land down the left field line.
Just inside that third baseline just enough, and had to re-grip the ball out there in left field. That slight hesitation gave CO all the time he needed to get on that plate, just streaking around those bases.
And so the 8th batter of the first inning, that's Tuffy's first extra base hit this year. They scored a double. Tell you what, Tuffy had 3 hits in the second game of the doubleheader yesterday in Denver, and he's 1 for 1 with an RBI so far tonight. Ahmed at 152 on the year. Nick has it safely in 4 of his last 5 starts. Double and an RBI for Gozawish. Off the glove of Despaigne. He's got time to recover, and he throws out Ahmed. But the Diamondbacks get 4 on 5 hits in the first inning. It all started with the 2-hole hitter, Mark Trumbo, who homers for the second day in a row, and it's 4-0 Diamondbacks on Throwback Thursday. Part by Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. Downtown Phoenix on a gorgeous Thursday evening, and the Diamondbacks looking good. They lead it 4-0 as we start the second inning on Throwback Thursday. Purple and teal all over the ballpark here, with a roof and panels open on a beautiful night. On Harry Solarte, the third baseman, leads it off for San Diego. Ruby De La Rosa spotted 4 runs in the first, and there's a strike on 1. Solarte hitting just under 300 on the year with a pair of homers. He's a switch hitter, and so he's getting the start at third base tonight over the slumping Will Middlebrooks. He's a right-hand hitter. And a chance for Bud Black to try and get another left-hand bat in there against Ruby De La Rosa. And Solarte hitting over 350 from the left-hand side of the plate this year, including both his home runs. Looks at strike 3. Fairchild rings him up. Second strikeout for Ruby De La Rosa. The 96-mile-an-hour fastball is in there.
Oh, we have a moment. Let's take a look at our keys to the game, brought to you by Valley Honda. That seems appropriate on Throwback Thursday. Purple rain. Diamondbacks looking to rain over the Padres here tonight. And purple haze. I think we were all in a little bit of a purple haze in Denver. All that rain we saw there.
It was a long 3 days. Derek Norris, the catcher, in there at .310 with a pair of homers. This guy's really been swinging a hot bat lately. He's already hit 11 doubles this year. Matt Carpenter and Troy Tulowitzki, the only players in the majors who've hit more doubles than Derek Norris. And Norris got off to a bit of a slow start offensively his first year with San Diego after he was in Oakland the last few years, but he's really hit the ball well lately, batting nearly .360 over his last 17 games. That's in there for a strike. 2-1. Padres have an outstanding defensive catcher, a prospect they just called up, a second-round pick, Austin Hedges. So there's some speculation about Norris's future in terms of his position. 3-1 now.
Well, when you hit 310, you know one thing, you're going to be in there somewhere. Eric Norris having a good year at the plate.
And defensively, you know, he's always been an offense first type guy, but he's had a good year throwing out attempted base stealers as well. He's been pretty good back there. Diamondbacks with 3 infielders on the left-hand side. Norris fans at that one. Nice pitch there from De La Rosa. And it's full 3-2.
Nasty late breaking slider that time. Change up.
Out in front, and he yanked it right off the fence in front of the Diamondback. Archie Bradley hasn't he taken enough?
He's a magnet.
Get away. Go hide in the clubhouse. Look, Archie wants no part of it.
Get behind the screen. Pitchers, get behind the screen.
There you go. Put that on.
Could have used that a week or so ago.
Yeah. Maybe try and pitch with that when he comes back. Lifts it in the air to right center field toward the corner. And that one bounces off the wall. Well, it's another double for Derek Norris. That's his 12th of the season.
Derek Norris uses the whole field, kind of unusual for a big guy, but took that pitch out on the outer third of the plate and stayed right on it toward the pool area out there in right center field. We know Ender Inciarte has great speed out there in center, and he was not making up any ground on that drive.
The ball was hit to the deepest part of the ballpark, so Norris has a 1-out double, his 12th of the year, and here's Yonder Alonso in there at 341. Slaps it the other way, but it is foul.
Yonder Alonso, a guy with big power, and he did it to Ruby De La Rosa on April 13th. Got a fastball out in front of home plate. The ball seems to be carrying really well in California this year. San Diego and LA, both two notorious pitchers' ballparks, giving up home runs like crazy.
Ruby jumps ahead 0-2 on Alonso, coming off a pair of serious wrist injuries that essentially washed out his last 2 seasons, really drained his power, but he's become, at 341, obviously a very good hitter for average, but still just the 1 homer this year. That was 18 games ago against Ruby De La Rosa. In fact, he's had only 4 extra base hits since that home run.
Road warrior Yonder Alonso atop the National League in batting average on the road this year at .475.
Sky to left center field. Peralta calling for it. And that's the 2nd out. Brings up Alexi Amarista.
Shortstop, number 5.
Conference with Tuffy Gozawish now. Amarista hitting .206 on the year, coming off a 3-hit day yesterday and their win over the Giants at San Francisco. And that was just Amarista's 3rd multi-hit game of the year. He was 4 for 39 before that game yesterday at AT&T Park, and he's in there at .206.
We've talked a lot about the Diamondbacks' feast or famine in their offensive lineup, and it seemed like most of the feast was the guys at the top of the order and the famine was the guys at the bottom. And You look at this Padres roster, and they've got kind of the same thing going. They've got some hitters that if you stack them up at the top of the order, 1 through 5 or 6, they can do some damage. The guys at the bottom have really struggled to carry the load. Marista 206, as you mentioned. Jed Jerko hitting 182. Will Middlebrooks, you mentioned his struggles, 191. And Will Venable in very limited playing time, hitting only 138.
And Jerko has lost a lot of his playing time at second base to Solarte, and Middlebrooks on the bench tonight. Solarte over there at third, and Spangenberg getting a rare start at second. 2-1 now. Showed you that home run that Alonso hit off Ruby De La Rosa. He faced the Padres earlier this year, April 13th at Petco Park. Ruby got the win in that ball game. 3 runs on 6 hits in 6 innings. He had 1 walk and struck out 5. And facing the Padres for the second time this year tonight. This is away, and it's 3-1.
You may remember before this at bat even started, Tuffy went out to talk to Ruby De La Rosa. I'm sure they talked about the obvious thing. You want to pitch around this guy, be very careful. We don't want to let him drive that run in with a base hit. We've got a bag open and a pitcher on deck, and Odrisamer Despaigne is horrible.
He's not a hitter. He's very pitcherish at the plate.
Yes, he is.
3-1 to Amarista. But as you always say, it's nice to get that 8-hole hitter with 2 outs, because then the pitcher has to lead off the next inning.
I'd like to think you start the third, 1 out, nobody on base.
See what they go with here on 3-2 and 2 outs, and Norris standing at second base. Trying to reach out with his bare hand. Ahmed behind the bag, and he throws him out. So a nice job by Ruby De La Rosa to strand that 1-out double. He leads it 4-0.
Look back to July 18th and 19th, 2001. Curt Schilling was a starter in this game, so the Padres loaded up their lineup with left-handed hitters. When the transformer blew on top of the stadium, the game was postponed till the next day. Curt Schilling had thrown enough pitches that we couldn't bring him back. It was Randy Johnson's scheduled day to pitch, and with a lineup full of left-handed hitters, RJ set a record for a relief pitcher with 16 strikeouts in 7 innings of work. I still remember that day because the light tower blew and we hung around. We didn't know whether we were going to play or not, and ultimately they said, no, we can't fix it. We're going to play tomorrow. We'll pick up the game tomorrow in the 3rd inning. The phone rings in my office at old Qualcomm Stadium, and it's Bruce Bochy on the other end, the manager of the Padres at the time.
Hey, BB.
Hey, BB. You're going to start the big lefty, aren't you? I said, well, Bruce, it's his day to throw. I wouldn't want to upset Randy. So, yeah, we're going to start Randy in the resumption of the game.
It's a lot easier for you to change your pitcher than for him to change his entire lineup. Solarte charges that one and makes a tremendous play to throw out De La Rosa. On Harvey Solarte at third. And Sherlock on the phone with video coordinator Alan Campbell to see if they got the call right. Jim Joyce, the crew chief, is the umpire down there first.
What a play. I thought De La Rosa would beat that out for sure. That swinging bunt down the third base line, take a full cut and hit the ball about 15-20 feet up the third base line. But Solarte right there to make a nice barehanded play.
Top of the order now, Ender and Ciarte. No challenge from the Diamondbacks. Ender flied out his first time. Ender getting the start in center field tonight. A.J. Pollock has the night off. Diamondbacks with 4 runs on 5 hits in the first inning against Odrisamer Despaigne. Ender slaps that the other way, but it's in the seats. It almost got Gary Schiffman down there, our Golden Glover.
Hey fans, when the D-backs win, you win at Papa John's. The day after every Diamondbacks win, you get 50% off your regular menu price online order at Papa John's. Enter promo code DBACKS50 at papajohns.com.
Odrisamer Despaigne. It's been a rough go so far. He made 4 starts against the Diamondbacks last year and struggled in 2 starts here at Chase Field. He was 0-2 with an ERA over 5 in this ballpark last year. Very good against the Diamondbacks at Petco Park, but it's been a real contrast for Despaigne between the 2 parts against the D-backs. Nice play there by Spangenberg at second. And that's the second out here in the second inning. Mark Trumbo.
Right field.
He's had the long ball swing working lately. It started yesterday at Coors Field.
This one was a little surprising. A line drive to right field that just kept going and ultimately ended up in that Rockies bullpen. And the one tonight just waited back on an off-speed pitch and mashed it to left field.
A solo homer, the second batter of the game. Trumbo back in the 2-hole tonight. And how about this? Mark Trumbo now counting tonight. Last 8 games, 11 hits and 9 RBIs, and 7 of the 11 hits over the last week have gone for extra bases. Lays off there, but it's in there for a strike. 2-1. Be interesting to see, Bob, how long they go with Trumbo in the 2-hole here. It's hard to change it up the way it's worked out so far. Chip Hale said he likes the idea of shaking up the lineup. There had been some offensive struggles over the weekend in LA, but he's got Trumbo with Goldie behind him, and that's a pretty good combination.
Yes, it really is. Mark Trumbo, before moving into the 2 spot, pitchers have been getting him out, throwing that slider off the plate low and away. Just couldn't seem to lay off it. He hasn't seen that many sliders hitting in the 2 spot. Been getting a lot of hittable fastballs.
3-2. Got that back foot up against the railing as always. Pretty good breeze down there out on the pitcher's mound. You can see the back of Despaigne's jersey flowing in the wind. All the roof and panels open here. Shot near the hole.
Solarte in front of Arista has it, and Trumbo beats it out. Hit too slowly for the Padres infield to convert that into an out, and Trumbo's aboard for the second time.
After making a nice barehand play on Ruby De La Rosa a couple of hitters ago, he tries to make another nice play cutting across the infield. Just could not find the handle. Had to take an extra crow hop or two before firing on to first base.
Bud Black is going to challenge the call at first. And he walked right out there, no hesitation at all, in speaking with crew chief Jim Joyce. And the Padres are challenging the out call at first base.
By the San Diego Padres.
It's another challenge brought to you by our friends at Mix One. Mix One keeping track of all the challenges so far this year, keeping a running tabulation of the plays that the Diamondbacks are involved in. One more look. That looks like Bud Black's got a pretty good case right there.
So, you know, we talked about the ball hitting the back of the glove, not just entering between the fingers there, but actually hitting the back of the glove. That's when the ball is considered to be in the mid of the first baseman, and it appeared that ball was in the back of Alonso's glove, just a hair ahead of Mark Trumbo over there at first base. Yeah, that's not quite now it's in the glove. Once it gets all the way in the back.
Headsets are off. And he is out at first. The Padres win the challenge, and that ends the bottom of the second inning. Another replay review brought to you by Mix One. That one goes against the D-backs, but they lead 4-0 as we go to the third inning here at Chase Field.
On top right now, probably because they're sporting their throwback uniforms, and fans, you too can sport the good old days in the teal and purple. You can come on over to the team shop right now. They have a lot of the purple and teal on display. The old Diamondbacks colors on display. They'll be on display throughout the year, and you can wear them here at games on Thursday. So I think you want to get down here. There's a lot of cool stuff for both men, women, and lots for the kids.
Everybody wearing purple, including the broadcasters here tonight. All the Diamondback staffers wearing the purple colors. I see Tony La Russa down the row there, BB, wearing a purple shirt, I think.
No, that had to hurt him.
That's true. I didn't think about that. He's embracing the theme, that's for sure. There he is. That's a nice shirt. Despaigne fans at that one. Third strikeout for Ruby. One away to open up the third.
Well, and you mentioned it at the end of that second inning. That's why you like to go after the number 8 hitter with 2 outs in the inning, even with the base open. Obviously, any number 8 hitter is going to be more dangerous than the pitcher hitting behind him, but You retire that number 8 hitter, you get one quick out in the next inning.
Well, here's Will Myers, and he's a key to this offense. A middle of the order bat in Tampa Bay, put into a leadoff role this year now with the Padres, and here he is leading the major leagues in runs scored. He's not walking a whole lot. He's still a very aggressive hitter up there, but Bud Black said Myers told him early in spring training, you know, he was looking to hit third, fourth, or fifth, and Black said, well, hold on. You're not hitting third or fourth. We got Upton and we got Kemp, so that's not going to happen. But let's go in my office, sit down, and put together a lineup. And that's what they did. And Black and Myers sat down. Okay, tell me where. Look, I got Upton, I got Kemp, I got all these guys. And Black said he showed Myers, look, if you hit leadoff every day, and it's something that Myers has never done, you hit leadoff every day, you might get the most at bats in the National League. And guess what? He's leading the league in at bats and leading the majors in runs. So it's really worked out. 2-1 now. I mean, he's really been the leadoff hitter almost by default. They just had no one else that fit the profile. And with a young hitter like Myers, who just turned 24 in December, you want him up there a lot. Three 1 is in there for a strike, and the count is full 3-2. Because he's been getting on base, and then you've got the Kemps and the Uptons and the Norrises and the Alonsos behind him. He scored a lot of runs. It's that in the air near the right field line. Trumbo, long run for Mark, and he can't quite get there.
A little too far to go for Mark. Kind of took his eye off the ball right at the very end. Wanted to see where that sidewall was and go into that slide to protect himself, but just didn't come close to the baseball that time.
You've got the right hand hitting Myers up there, so it was a long run for Mark Trumbo. And another 3-2 pitch from Ruby De La Rosa. Misses away, and it's a one-out walk. First walk issued by Ruby.
Pretty good looking pitch right there at the end of that sequence. Seventh pitch of the sequence, and De La Rosa looked like he dotted that outside corner, but they did not get the call that time from Chad Fairchild.
Brings up the left hand hitting Corey Spangenberg, the second baseman tonight. He flied out his first time. It out in front of home plate. Tuffy's on it. Spangenberg runs really well up that line, but Gozowicz throws him out. And Myers moves up to second with 2 outs. Sacrifice 2-3.
Tuffy coming out from behind the plate, just bare hands that ball way inside the infield to make sure you clear the runner, and then a strong throw on to Goldie for the out.
So an RBI chance for Matt Kemp, who had a base hit his first time up, a ground ball that went under the glove of Tomas at third. It was ruled a hit. So he's in there 1 for 1, 297 on the year. Big cut at that one, 97 from Ruby. It's 0-1.
Have the confidence to challenge a hitter like Matt Kemp with your best fastball on the inside part of the plate speaks to that big right arm of Ruby De La Rosa.
Yeah, Kemp's bat really came around. He's finally healthy, he says, and believes that he's healthy. That's a big part of it. He was very tentative when he came back the first half of last year in LA. But after the All-Star break last season, he slugged .606, the best of the major leagues. That left shoulder finally healthy. And he was able to just crush everything on the inner half of the plate once again. De La Rosa ahead 0-2. Kemp spits on that one. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Seen a lot more sliders tonight from Ruby as opposed to that straight changeup, which is usually his go-to pitch when he gets in trouble or has runners on base. He likes to go to that straight changeup, but seen a lot more sliders against this Padres lineup tonight.
Interesting, because that was the pitch that he got in trouble with when he faced Jock Peterson, bases loaded, second inning in that start at Dodger Stadium, and gave up the grand slam on a hanging changeup. 1-2 to Kemp. Got him. 4 strikeouts for Ruby De La Rosa. He strands Myers at second. He leads it 4-0 on Throwback Thursday at Chase Field. In part by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. CenturyLink, your link to what's next. And by Mix One, great taste, no face, available at local retailers. D-backs with 4 in the first against Odrisamir Despaigne. And now Chad Fairchild, the umpire, is coming out to talk to Despaigne. Is he going to his mouth? I think it's about, hey, you can't go to your mouth like that. And he's switched up baseballs on it. Right after that last warm-up pitch, he went to his mouth a couple of times.
I believe you can go to your mouth on the dirt part, but you can't do it while you're standing on the rubber.
So Goldie leads off the third. He flied out his first time.
Used to be a pitcher had to actually get off the dirt and onto the grass if he wanted to go to his mouth out there on the mound. But you can see Despaigne got 1 foot right there on the rubber. Possibly loading one up. Who knows?
He's at 50 pitches right now. 31 for strikes. Behind on Goldie 2-0. Goldie, an unusual day yesterday in the doubleheader at Coors Field. He went 0 for 5 in game 1 and struck out 4 times, and then homered in game 2. He did a pair of hits in that game. This was Goldie yesterday in Denver. His 7th of the year. 3-0. There's a strike.
That continues the theme for Goldie. Over his last 8 games, he's slugging over 700. His OPS is over 1,200. He's got 4 doubles and has been hitting .459 over his last 8. Even with the 4 strikeout game in Game 1 yesterday.
Amazing. Yeah, that was the remarkable thing about that Game 1 win. They scored 13 runs on 19 hits. And Goldie had a walk and 4 strikeouts in that game. Also grounded out. Did not have a base hit. So that's a good sign for the Diamondbacks offense. 3-2. Here it is. Goldie 4 hits, including a home run in the Diamondbacks' 3-game series against these Padres last month at Petco Park. Looking right at home in the purple and teal on the first of 7 Throwback Thursdays this year. That one is well hit and gone in the bullpen. A home run, 8th of the year for Goldie, and it's 5-0 Diamondbacks.
What's the score again?
Sometimes you gotta live Tomas.
Love it. We got tacos again, fans. What a roll! What a roll!
Second homer of the game for the Diamondbacks. Purple tacos.
Goldie just missed the hanging breaking ball on the pitch before, and Despaigne comes back with another off-speed delivery, and Goldie just absolutely crushed that one to left.
Despaigne, just 2 home runs allowed all year coming into the game. He's given up 2 homers in 3 innings here tonight. Number 8 for Goldie, and it's 5-0. David Peralta singled and scored his first time. Despaigne continues to struggle here at Chase Field. Despaigne coming in had worked 21 innings this year, just over 21 innings, given up only 12 hits, but so far 5 runs on 6 hits in 2+.
Well, Goldie knew a solo home run right there would give the D-backs 5 runs on the night. Look at the Taco Bell sign in the background. Wonderful timing. Oh,
somebody gets an A in marketing right there. This is away, and it's 3 balls and a strike. Big day yesterday. 13 runs, 19 hits in the first game, 5 runs, 12 hits in the second game, 5 runs, 6 hits so far here tonight. That's in there, and it's full 3-2. Makes the hitting coach proud, that's for sure. Peralta shoots it the other way down the left field line. That's a fair ball. It's in the corner. Upton plays it well off the carom, and Peralta's in there with his 2nd hit tonight and his 6th double this year. He's 2 for 2.
nice opposite field swing that time. Backside kind of came loose a little bit, but kept his head down on the ball, lined it right down that left field line. Runaway train sliding into second with another double.
He's a lot of fun to watch running those bases. A full head of steam right out of the box every time. Takes those big turns, head up all the time. A home run and a double to lead off the Diamondback third. Here's Tomas, who singled and scored his first time up. There's a strike. Boy, Despaigne is just a different guy against the Diamondbacks away from Petco Park. He gives the D-backs all he can handle in his home park, but he has been very hittable here at Chase Field going back to last year. In fact, go back to last season. He was very good against the D-backs at Petco Park. Despaigne, 6 innings of 5-hit ball on June 29th. 7 innings, just 4 hits September 2nd. And that trend continued into this year. 7 innings of 2-hit ball against the Diamondbacks last month. But here at Chase Field, he has been very hittable.
The ball carries considerably different here at Chase Field than it does at Petco, especially when you've got the marine layer and moisture on the infield, cool evening temperatures. I don't know if either one of the home runs would have left at Petco. I mean, under those circumstances with that heavy marine layer that we see there.
Tomas chases that one and strikes out for the first out here in the third. First strikeout tonight for Odrisamer Despaigne.
While we have a moment here, let's take a look at this day in Major League Baseball history, brought to you by Geico. May 7th, 2010. Jamie Moyer becomes the oldest pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw a shutout, a 7-0 victory over the Braves. 47 years, 170 days old. That's not what really grabbed me when I read this, though.
What was it?
He had done this in 4 different decades. 80s, 90s, the aughts, and 2010.
Once again, Chris Owens is up there swinging at the first pitch and flies out to shallow right center field. It's something that CO has just continued to do up there. He's always been, and we've talked about this, very aggressive, but it seemed like he kind of got himself out there. And with Peralta at second, quickly 2 outs now for Tuffy Gozawish, who was first time up, had his first extra base hit this year, an RBI double. Tuffy coming off his 3-hit game yesterday at Coors Field. That's in there for a strike. Big swing and a miss there by Tuffy, and it's quickly 0-2. So going back to the second game yesterday, Gozawish up there with 4 hits in his last 5 at bats, 2 RBIs. Looking for another 2-out run so far. The Diamondbacks second in the National League with 55 2-out runs scored so far this year. They trail only the Padres, who have 56. A lot of timely hits lately for the Diamondbacks. Despaigne now at 70 pitches, 45 for strikes.
Not only did Tuffy have 3 hits in that second game of the doubleheader, had an RBI on a bunt with A.J. Pollock at third base, and he also stole a base.
He sure did.
Back end of a double steal with Aaron Hill in the 8th inning yesterday, game 2.
We joked on the air. We joked with him yesterday, too, on the airplay, that you should have picked the base up over your head and held it like Ricky Henderson. And he went into the speech. He started doing the speech. Today, I am the greatest of all time. His 50% career stolen base rate for Tuffy. Hits it in the air, deep right center field. That ball is carried, and Miles won't get there. Peralta scores at 6-0. How about 2 extra base hits for Tuffy, and another 2-out RBI for the Diamondbacks.
Well, the first double was a little bit of a jam shot. He took a big full swing, freezing Justin Upton in left field, and it dropped in front of him. This one is smoked into the gap in left center field. Will Myers was shading a little bit over to the gap in right center and could not catch up to it.
Well, he goes the whole season without an extra base hit. 2 at bats tonight, 2 doubles, and now it's Nick Ahmed. Flare out to shortstop, but right to Amarista. And that ends the inning. But the Diamondbacks get 2 more. Goldie starts us off with his 8th home run of the year, a solo shot for the Diamondbacks. Tacos again. Diamondbacks beating up on the Padres.
and one of the least likely candidates to hit for the cycle, does so down at old Qualcomm Stadium in San Diego. Singled against a rookie pitcher for the Padres named Oliver Perez, and then hit a 2-run homer off of Perez. He doubled off of Dennis Tankersley, homered again in the 7th, and with a 10-3 lead in the 9th inning, Colby came up and hit a ball down in the right field corner, and we'll say he motored for a triple. Ball rolled out underneath the bullpen bench in right field, and trouble finding the ball, and in the meantime Colby ended up with third base with only the 2nd cycle at that time in the history of the organization.
Great job by the fans here to embrace the Throwback Thursday theme. You see the black and purple and teal all over the ballpark as Justin Upton leads off the San Diego 4th. He struck out his first time up there. Upton, Solarte, Norris 4, 5, and 6 against Ruby De La Rosa. Ruby so far has given up 2 hits. He's walked 1. He's got 4 strikeouts. Now that's really getting on board.
That's serious.
Down in front.
The thing about Greg Colburn, and Diamondbacks fans know that he would get his occasional starts down at first base, but he was a pinch hitter deluxe, and he would walk up and down that bench for 9 innings with his gloves on and a bat in his hand and a helmet nearby. He was ready to pinch hit in the 1st inning. He was ready to pinch hit in the 9th inning.
Well, I know you've said there were times where you intentionally left him out of the starting lineup just so he'd be available, right?
Well, he was too valuable to start.
Tell that to his agent. Another long run for Trumbo. The fan almost had it in the throwback Padre jersey right there. Hey fans, tonight the first Throwback Thursday game of the year, presented by Chase. Each Throwback Thursday, the Diamondbacks will wear their purple and teal uniforms. If you don't have any purple and teal gear, you can get a free D-backs Throwback t-shirt when you buy a Throwback Thursday ticket with your Chase credit or debit card. For more information and to buy tickets, just visit dbacks.com/throwback. And we'll see you here at the ballpark every Thursday home game this year, Throwback Thursday with the purple and teal uniforms. 2-2 to Justin Upton.
Boy, nice job in this at bat. You see all those pitches, middle of the thighs and down to Justin Upton. His previous at bat in this ball game, he was worked almost exclusively away before striking out on a fastball inside. This time Ruby's mixed it up a little better.
Doing what he did 2 starts ago against the Pirates, and that's the key for him finding consistent success. This is out to Trumbo coming in this time, and he runs it down. Mark getting a workout out there tonight. 1 away. Ruby said after that start, a couple of starts ago here against Pittsburgh, when he didn't get the win, Diamondbacks lost that game, but he really pitched well. He's got to try to get more confident, throw more strikes, and was very effective against the Pirates working down. And said he was just trying to attack the zone. Everything was working and under control, and his poise and presence out there is part of it too. He doesn't want to rush. Take your time out there and settle in, find a rhythm, and when he does that, he's effective. Solarte struck out looking his first time. That start against the Pirates really was Ruby's best effort, I think, with the Diamondbacks so far. 7 innings, 4 hits, struck out 8, no walks. Stuff just electric at times in that ball game, but it was a no decision. Pirates ended up winning 2-1. But he showed in that start he is capable, with how hard he throws and how much his stuff moves, of being a top of the rotation guy. Solarte lines it down the right field line and in the corner. Trumbo gets it in there, and Solarte has his 5th double.
Well, it's so hard. Goldie didn't even have a chance to react to it. It's down into the right field corner. A favorable bounce that time for Mark Trumbo to hold Solarte to a double.
He's at second with 1 out for Derek Norris, who doubled his first time up tonight. That's just the 3rd hit for the Padres. And Norris has really had it rolling lately, hitting better than .360 over his last 18 games, including tonight, with 11 extra base hits. In there for a strike. Ender, I like your defense. Nicely done. I think your taco sign has really inspired some of the artists out there in D-back Nation. It's like an arts and crafts show up here. 0-2.
I'm just thankful we get a chance to use it as often as we do. I love this Diamondbacks offense lately.
We can throw back with the best here at Chase Field. Just missed at 98 down and away. You saw where Tuffy was setting up. Right back to that spot on 1-2. Got him. 5 strikeouts for Ruby De La Rosa. 2 down in the 4th.
Well, that's nice. Just missed a hair away on the pitch before, but comes right back to it again. Scoots it over a couple of inches to get it on the outside corner, and Norris came up empty.
Bullpen busy for the Padres. Nick Vincent, the right-hander, started to get loose down there.
Just a couple spots away from that pitcher spot.
Yonder Alonso flying out his first time. Alonso is a guy that sees a lot of defensive overshifts, but the Diamondbacks here with the Solarte at second and 2 outs will play him straight away. Well, Ruby's got the good stuff tonight.
It's about as live a fastball as we've seen him have, and he's had some good ones in previous starts, but it's really popping tonight, and that makes that changeup even better.
It's got some jump to it, that's for sure. 65 pitches, 44 strikes. .96 up and in misses. It's 1-1. Andresamir Despaigne, it's gone quite the other way for him. Diamondback so far 6 runs on 8 hits. Got 4 in the first and 2 in the third. Trumbo is homered. Goldie is homered. A ball and a strike on Yonder Alonso. Solarte, the runner at second. Throw down to second. He wandered way off the bag, but he's back in time, says Greg Gibson down there.
That's a good idea and a good time to try it right there. Alonso, for me, is a dead pull hitter, even though the Diamondbacks don't shift on him. But very little chance he's going to hit a ball on the ground to the left side. So Nick abandons his position, sneaks in behind Solarte, but he's able to get back in with the head first slide.
2-1 on Yonder Alonso. It makes sense to be really careful here with Amarista on deck and the pitcher spot behind him, even if they do plan on hitting for Despaigne. Alonso's dangerous up there. Came into the ball game hitting .341, and Amarista at .206. So pick your poison. Choice is pretty easy here. We'll see what they're going 3-1.
Also, the numbers with runners in scoring position would tell you to pitch very carefully to the man at the plate, and if you lose him, go aggressively after the next guy. Alonso, a .375 hitter this season with runners in scoring position. Amarista at .154.
And the Padres, as we mentioned earlier, have a knack for the 2-out RBI, tied with the Diamondbacks for the National League lead, in fact. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. This is at 96. Second walk issued by De La Rosa, and they'll pitch to Amarista.
Shortstop, Alexi Amarista.
Mike Harkey. Fans, here's your chance to beat the Heat. Tonight's word is sandlot. Log on to foxsportsarizona.com/beattheheat and enter that word for your chance to win a trip to San Diego for the 4th of July weekend. Throughout May, we'll have a word of the day during every game. Once you see it, go to foxsportsarizona.com/beattheheat and enter the word. A reminder, the password is sandlot.
Never gets old.
It will eventually.
Well, then we'll be in June.
Exactly. Won't matter. Solarte at second, Alonso at first. Here's Amarista. Grounded out his first time to win the second. 0-1. 70 pitches now for Ruby. 46 for strikes. It's 71. These are the moments where Ruby's really got to focus after his loss at Dodger Stadium over the weekend. He said he lost a little of that focus and location. And he's got to find a way to maintain his poise and control out there. Control meaning his pace and his rhythm. Because he can, when things get tough, speed up a little too much, work too quickly, try too much. And that happened in that second inning against the Dodgers. Tries to make perfect pitches. And when he does that, sometimes it doesn't work. And usually it's just the one inning that gets away from him. That's in the seats. It's 1-2. And that was Tuffy's observation. He caught De La Rosa in that start against the Dodgers. Tuffy said just the one bad inning. There were a few hitters in a row there where he couldn't find it. And the rest of the time he was outstanding. In fact, if you go back and look at that Dodger game, after he gave up the grand slam to Jock Peterson, De La Rosa retired the final 11 Dodgers he faced in that ball game. So it really was a case of one bad inning and one bad pitch. And a bad night for that guy. A ball and 2 strikes. .98, 2-2. Well, he is firing out there. That would have been a good combination for you not too long ago.
Of course, Goldie wouldn't have been able to wear number 44. Rubio Durazo was wearing 44 back in the day.
He's pretty good wearing any number. 95 strikes out Amarista. That's 6 strikeouts for Ruby De La Rosa. He strands 2 and leads it 6-0. Morgan leads the U.S. women's team in search of their 3rd World Cup championship, and the only place you can see the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup is on Fox and Fox Sports 1. That's just 30 days away. Ruby De La Rosa leads off the Diamondback 4th against Odrisamir Despaigne. De La Rosa, Inciarte, Trumbo, 9-1-2 in the Arizona fourth. D-backs lead at 6-0. They have out-hit the Padres 8-3. Solo homers by Trumbo and Goldschmidt. By the way, Ruby De La Rosa, it's been a while. His last hit, June of 2011.
They've just been pitching him tough.
Slaps it the other way, but Spangenberg is there. One out. Fun times at the RamTrucks.com pool area. Great night to be out there tonight. Come on down all weekend long. Roof and panels will be open. The D-backs and the Padres, first of a 4-game set here. 7-game homestand. The Nationals come in for 3 on Monday. So we'll see Matt Williams, speaking of the old throwback uniforms. The Nats skipper trying to get his team on the right track. They're having all kinds of problems out there. It's been a disappointing start for Washington. Everyone assumed they would win 120 games and win the World Series in a sweep, and the whole thing hasn't worked out that way so far. Ender 0 for 2. They've got a few injuries. Anthony Rendon is going to miss more time, it seems. Bounce to first. Alonso's there. 2 quick outs here in the fourth.
Right field.
Well, there's Mark Trumbo. He has homered and grounded out, 1 for 2. A solo shot in the first inning is 4th of the year. It to third. Solarte bobbles it, recovers, and with that strong throwing arm, throws him out. So Despaigne works a 1-2-3 fourth. We go to the fifth. Diamondbacks lead the Padres 6-0. Changing player so far tonight, Ruby De La Rosa. 4 scoreless innings. He has walked 2. He has struck out 6.
Best stuff we've seen from Ruby so far this season. He's been really good in some of his previous outings, but nothing like tonight. Has everything working. Good life on the fastball. Good location on his secondary pitches. Just absolutely dealing.
Trying to beat the Padres for the second time this year. He's got a 6-0 lead as Odrisamer Despaigne, the San Diego pitcher, leads off the Padre fifth. Padres come into this 4-game series 1 over 500 for the year. And they really haven't been playing all that well lately. At one point, San Diego was 10-5. They got off to a pretty good start. And everyone was conceding the National League West after 15 games. But since that point, San Diego has lost 9 of its last 14. This is bounced over the mound. Ahmed charges. He just makes that look so easy.
Center fielder Will
brings up Will Myers.
Spani just pounds it down into the dirt in front of the plate, and Nick Ahmed comes streaking into your picture right there. I mean, that wasn't an easy hop. He wasn't able to smother it right at grass level. It was about mid-shin. He made that play perfectly and fires on to Goldie for the out.
Myers has tapped back to the mound and walked. He's 0 for 1. Padres were swept at home by the Astros when Houston went on that big roll. And then San Diego swept the struggling Rockies at Petco Park. And they are here as part of a long 3-city road trip that began with 2 losses in 3 games at San Francisco. They'll play 4 here this weekend, then 2 up at Safeco Field in Seattle. De La Rosa ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Good location there, down and away against Myers. Trying to elevate this time. Myers lays off, and it's 1-2.
That's what you hear pitchers talk about all the time, changing a batter's eye level. You don't want to throw everything in the same location where he can just lock into that particular zone and look for a pitch down there. Throw one up neck high over the middle of the plate, make him look up for that ball, and then go right back down again.
Bounce to shortstop. Ahmed. Well, there they are, Johnson and Johnson.
Trumbo and Goldsmith have both today.
Listening to the governor, Tom Candiotti on the radio side, just to our right, 98.7 FM. Corey Spangenberg. 0 for 1. He has flied out and laid down a sacrifice bunt, getting the start at second base. Spangenberg from Clark Summit, Pennsylvania. He was the 10th overall pick in the draft 4 years ago by the Padres. Out of Indian River Community College. He was drafted, in fact, only 3 spots after the Diamondbacks took Archie Bradley. Just turned 24 years old back in March. High fly ball, right field near the pool. Inciarte and Trumbo. Ender drifts over there. And Ruby De La Rosa has retired 4 in a row. He works a 1-2-3-5. D-backs lead at 6-0.
Had to be when I made my home debut here. It was as a pinch hitter against the Yankees. I think there was about 48,000 fans here. That day was a complete sellout, always the case with the Yankees. And I pinch hit for an old college teammate, Brandon Webb, and it was my first major league hit, my first major league home run, first and only curtain call. You know, when you get that first hit in the big leagues, you never forget it when it's in front of the home fans wearing the purple. It's about as exciting as it could possibly be.
We welcome you back as Andy Green recalls one of his favorite moments in the vintage purple and teal. Many members of the D-backs coaching staff shared with me their favorite games suiting up in the old unis. And with 7 Throwback Thursdays this season, we want to get you fans thinking about memorable moments when the team was sporting the old look. So start talking about your favorites, and come next Throwback Thursday on June 4th, we'll ask you to tweet your thoughts, and who knows, we could be talking about you and your memories right about now on our telecast. Guys?
Paul Goldschmidt leads off the Diamondback 5th against Odrisamer Despaigne. Goldie, Peralta, Tomas, 3, 4, and 5. The gentleman that played Kachenko here at the ballpark, BB, was asked about his memory from the purple and teal, and he said, I remember watching Bob Brenly and Mark Grace win the World Series.
Yeah, Mark Grace down there in the throwback jersey tonight. Man, it looks like he's ready to go up there and get a base hit.
That's a real flashback, isn't it? Gracie in the purple and teal. That's in there for a strike. 2-2. Looks the same.
Still barking at the umpires.
Gerald Laird with his view block behind Gracie there. And Jake Lamb, who was taking ground balls at third base, on his knees this afternoon. And there was some news about Jake Lamb today, in fact, from Chip Hale. He said Jake is progressing well, but likely it's going to take a little longer to get him back than they first thought. Maybe another week or 10 days or so. Got to be very careful. This one is skied to right. Kemp. It's up in that wind. And it's the first out in the 5th. That was up near the roof.
Well, there's a little bit of wind swirling around inside Chase Field here tonight, especially when you hit them that high.
There's the flag out there in left center. David Peralta, good day so far. He singled and scored in the first. Doubled and scored in the third. 2 for 2. Padres once again go into the overshift for Peralta. 3 infielders on the right-hand side. That double, he just flipped it the other way. Double down the left field line. This is skied to center. Myers.
MLB.TV Premium, the #1 live streaming sports service, is celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in true HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Highlights, live look-ins, a pitch tracking widget, and more. Blackout rules apply. Visit MLB.TV for details.
Yasmani Tomas singled and scored in the first, struck out his last time up.
Anytime you're talking about widgets, there has to be rules in place.
You can't let widgets run wild, otherwise they just
chaos.
Yeah. Like Spacely Sprockets. Off the glove of Spangenberg, and it rolls into shallow center. Tomas a smash to second. And he's got his second hit tonight. Spangenberg trying to make the diving attempt, flanked it off the glove, hit it really hard.
Shooting a little bit up the middle of the field. Despaigne just kind of waved at it as it went by. Spangenberg tries to make the diving catch. That ball actually spun his glove around on his hand. It was hit so hard. Hit on the little finger of the glove and ricocheted out into shallow center.
Chris Owings had a 2-out RBI single his first time up tonight. He's also scored a run, 1 for 2. It's interesting to watch the way that the Padres set up their outfield defense. I mean, there's Will Myers in center, well over toward the pool in right center field. And again, Kemp kind of near the line out there in right. Myers plays very shallow out there. Owings chases that one. It's 0-2. Seems like CO's been up there 0-2 for the last 6 weeks.
You mentioned in one of his earlier at bats, a lot of first pitch hacking, which I'm fine with guys swinging at the first pitch if it's what you want to hit, what pitch you're looking for. But I think sometimes Chris just makes up his mind, I'm going to swing at this first pitch no matter what or where it is.
You mentioned his lower half too. It seems like sometimes he still gets a little jumpy up there.
It's a little quick, yeah. You know, we talk a lot about players who have the ability to slow the game down, and at times it's almost like Chris is fighting himself to speed the game up. All it takes is one off the sweet spot, and it'll all come back.
Well, he's a key part of this offense. There's no question, and we know that he can hit.
And you know he can run the bases. Possibly the best base runner on the team. I mean, this guy can really motor. He cuts corners well. When he's on base, good things tend to happen.
That one misses. Yeah, Chris got off to a great start as a rookie last year. He hit over .310 in April and was named National League Rookie of the Month. But then he suffered that labrum injury in his left shoulder in June and really was never the same after that. 2-2. One's in the dirt. It's full. And Tuffy Gozawish, who so far has a pair of doubles tonight, is on deck. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Yasmani Tomas, the runner at first. And Alonso will come off the bag and play behind the runner. Tomas will be off for the pitch from first. There goes Tomas. Owings hits it in the seats. And Chris has always hit, even in the minor leagues. A great offensive track record as a former first-round pick. Pacific Coast League MVP 2 years ago. Hit .330. Again, Tomas will get the early start here. There goes the runner. Ball 4. First walk issue tonight by Odrisaner Air Despaigne.
Catcher, Tuffy.
Tuffy, an RBI double in the first, an RBI double in the third. 2 for 2. That was a nice walk by Chris Owings after he was down in the count 0-2.
Yeah, it really was. I balled some tough pitches from Despaigne. Ended up taking a base on ball.
Tuffy bidding for one more. It gets behind Myers. Tomas will score. Here comes Owings, and Gozawish has his 3rd double tonight. It's Tuffy time. Not a single extra base hit all season long. 3 at-bats tonight and 3 doubles. It's 8-0 Diamondbacks.
Hit that ball a lot harder than it initially looked, and it was hooking. You can see it started out in straightaway center field, was hooking back toward the gap in left center. Myers could not catch up to it. And there's that speed we talked about with Chris Owings. Comes all the way around from first base and scores without a play.
Tuffy 3 for 3, 3 doubles, 4 RBIs. All his RBIs doubles tonight have come with 2 outs. Nick Ahmed looks at strike 1. Eight runs on 10 hits for the D-backs. 0-3-0 for the Padres. Popped up along the left field line, drifting near the seats, and nobody can get there. Nice job there by Gary Schiffman, our Gold Glover down there, to get out of the way. There's Gary and Kathy Grant manning the right field line for the Diamondbacks tonight. There's Kathy.
I'm a little disappointed that our Gold Glovers aren't wearing purple tonight.
Kathy appears to be playing hurt. She's got some fingers taped up there. She's a gamer. Oh, and 2 on Ahmed. Have to get those guys some purple shirts.
partner. Coming into the game tonight, Tuffy Gosewish had 11 career extra base hits in 75 games. 3 doubles tonight.
And Tuffy coming off his 3-hit game yesterday at Coors Field. Ahmed up the middle. Amarista spins and throws. What a play. Alexi Amarista makes a tremendous play to win the inning. But the Diamondbacks tack on 2 more, courtesy of Tuffy Gosewish. They lead it 8-0. To you in part by Cox Gigablast. How will you live the gig life? By Lone Butte Casino. You're in for more winning moments at Lone Butte Casino. And by Jack in the Box. Jack's hottest sandwich is back. Head to Jack in the Box for Jack's Blazing Chicken Sandwich. Take a look at our Chevron upcoming pitching matchup. Back with you tomorrow for Game 2 of the 4-game set. Diamondback Live pregame show starts at 6 o'clock on Fox Sports Arizona. James Shields, unbeaten so far for the Padres, against Jeremy Hellickson. I'll tell you what, the Diamondbacks announced earlier today that they have agreed on terms on a minor league deal with catcher Jared Saltalamacchia, the veteran who was just released by the Miami Marlins. Tuffy Gosewish apparently got the memo. 6 hits in his last 7 at bats. 3 singles yesterday at Coors Field. Had an RBI. He scored a run. 3 for 3 with 3 doubles and 4 RBIs here tonight. And the Diamondbacks say that Saltalamacchia will report to Salt River Fields and then be assigned to a minor league affiliate. He hasn't played a whole lot this year. And they'll try and sort that out. Trumbo. That one is foul off the bat of Matt Kemp here as we open up the San Diego 6th. Parts of 9 seasons, Gerald Saltalamacchia. The Braves, the Rangers, the Red Sox, and the Marlins. The switch hitter, he's always been an offense first type catcher. Tuffy Gosewish, though, first Diamondback with at least 3 doubles in a game since Didi Gregorius last September at Minnesota. And he's just the 4th Diamondbacks catcher never to have 3 doubles in a game. Ruby De La Rosa had a Kemp 0-2.
I know some Diamondbacks catchers that had 3 doubles after the game.
Huh?
Tuffy going through everything Ruby has out there on the mound. Started fastball in, fastball away, slider, changeup. In the meantime, Kemp steps out of the batter's box, so we'll do it again. Fastball in.
Arm is short. Ahmed. Wow, was he good down there? That was hit hard.
I mean, you can say this about it's 2 good plays. He makes a great defensive play to get to that smash and then just fires an absolute rocket across the diamond to get Matt Kemp. He didn't even get in your picture that time.
Look how accurate this throw is. Right there.
Yeah, when Nick has to hurry, he has the ability to throw for some awkward arm angles, submarine or sidearm, but when he has time to get up on top and throw that ball overhand, it has a lot of carry.
Justin Upton. Well, Nick Ahmed was a high school pitcher growing up in western Massachusetts. He in fact went 21-3 as a high school pitcher. Had a fastball that was consistently in the 90s, and a lot of college coaches were looking at him, but Nick said they all wanted him to pitch. He didn't want to pitch. He wanted to be an everyday player, loves the game, wants to be out there every day as a shortstop. And UConn, the Huskies, the only school that would let him play the infield, so that's where he wound up. Upton gets this one up in the air to right center field. Long run for Inciarte. Hey fans, baseball finally here. It's happening all around us, so grab a Pepsi and some friends and get out to a D-backs game and live it. It's for the thrill of the game. Pepsi, live for now. Pepsi, the official soft drink of the Arizona Diamondbacks. 2 outs now for Yangervis Solarte. He has struck out looking and doubled 1 for 2. Ruby De La Rosa bidding for what would be his second consecutive 1-2-3 inning. He's retired the last 6 he's faced. Look at that. Very efficient, in control. He has walked 2, struck out 6, given up only 3 hits. 95 on the inner half for a strike, 1-2. Get that fastball with that much on it inside the lefties, he's going to do well. Keep it down.
You did. That was that changeup. If you're going to miss with the changeup, it's better to miss in the dirt than leave it up over the heart of the plate.
Tuffy really checking out Solarte to make sure he's not peeking.
Well, that's quite possibly what he's doing. Yeah, some hitters are known to kind of peek out of the corner of their eye and see where that catcher sets up and then anticipate what pitch might be coming.
Off the fist, a little flare out to Peralta. Another 1-2-3 inning for Ruby De La Rosa. He's retired 7 straight. He's got an 8-0 lead.
Brandon Webb on this Throwback Thursday as we get set for the postgame show. Brandon, we talked about during pregame which Ruby De La Rosa we would see tonight. I think the scoreboard is telling us that he's been very good.
Yeah, no doubt about it. We're definitely seeing a different guy than we saw in LA. We'll break him down a little bit more in the postgame, though.
All right, so that's coming up, as well as a look at this offense, which continued what they did at Coors Field and brought it back here to Chase, guys.
He sure did, Jody. 13 runs, 19 hits in game 1, 5 runs, 12 hits in game 2 yesterday. Scott Geyer, our director of broadcasting, a big thumbs up there. He's got a late tee time, and he's going to try and get 9 holes in here.
Anybody can wear a purple golf shirt. It takes a real D-backs fan to break out the purple socks.
Next level stuff from Scotty G here tonight. Whole bunch of changes for Bud Black. Nick Vincent, the right-hander, on for the 7th time this year. Some defensive changes behind him. Pitcher spot is now 5th in the Padre order. Jed Jerko has checked into the game. He'll take over at second base. Corey Spangenberg moves over from 2nd to 3rd, replacing Solarte, who was hitting 5th in the Padre order. That's now the pitcher spot, and Jerko will hit 9th. 0-2 on Ruby De La Rosa, 0 for 2 so far. De La Rosa, Inciarte, Trumbo, 9-1-2. Diamondbacks 8 runs on 10 hits. And Ruby strikes out.
Hey fans, we invite you to play Kachinko by signing up at one of the 16 interactive kiosks right here at Chase Field during any Diamondbacks regular season home game. Tonight's contestant took home a David Peralta Kachinko game piece. Didn't see what they won in the actual Kachinko game, but let's take that game piece home autographed by David Peralta.
That's worth it just by itself. Ender Inciarte 0 for 3 so far.
Vincent is a 2-pitch guy, basically a 1-pitch guy. He throws 2-seam fastball and a cut fastball, a 2-seam fastball and a cut fastball.
So a rough day for Odrisamir Despaigne. He goes 5 innings, gives up 8 runs, all earned on 10 hits. He continues to struggle here at Chase Field. Vincent behind on Inciarte, 2 balls and a strike. And Mark Trumbo, who homered back in the first, is on deck. Mark is now homered in back-to-back games for the first time since the last September. And his first ever homer against the Padres. Trumbo and Goldie have both homered. They've now homered in the same game 3 times.
Gold Rumbo
rolling along here. First time was April last year against the Giants. This season they have both homered April 16th at San Francisco and May 7th here at Chase Field. 2-2. Yeah, Mitch Riggin, our director, brings up a good point. Now that Trumbo's batting ahead of Goldie, Gold Rumbo might have to come up with something else.
I like Gold Rumbo because it's easy to say, and even if you mispronounce it, you won't get in any trouble.
Yeah, because if you want to go Trumschmidt, you're really going to have to pause and be careful. It's always a high wire act. Inciarte fans at that one. So Vincent comes in here, gets 2 strikeouts. This is Trumbo in the first. He's 1 for 3. The homer is 4th of the year.
Right field. Boy, it continues a trend over the last 8 ball games. The Diamondbacks have been banging extra base hits. 32 extra base hits in their last 8 games after getting 40 in the first 19 games. 14 of those 32 extra base hits coming off the bat of Gold Rumbo.
I think we'll stick with that.
Yeah.
Just err on the side of caution.
Yeah. Goldie with 4 doubles and 3 homers over that period of time. Mark Trumbo with 3 doubles, a triple, and 3 homers.
All part of this Diamondback outfield that's been so productive this year. At the start of play today, the Diamondbacks outfield ranked 1st in the National League with a .299 average. just over our heads here. D-backs outfield was third in the league in slugging at .454, right behind the Dodgers and the Padres. And so all this news about the Padre outfield in the offseason, Upton, Myers, Campbell, the Diamondbacks outfield has been right there with him. 2 balls and a strike on Mark Trumbo.
Up there, letter high, cut fastball at about 83, 84 miles an hour, just hanging there for Mark Trumbo. Took a good rip, but just underneath it a little bit.
Great purple stuff all over the ballpark here. T-shirts, caps. Throwback Thursday. 7 times this year. Every Thursday home game is a Throwback Thursday here at Chase Field this year. The purple and teal will be out. Smash to Spangenberg, and it's off the glove and rolls down the left field line. Trumbo takes the turn, and he's in there at second base. That should be his 6th double. They rule it a double for Trumbo. He's 2 for 4.
Another high pitch. He's done such a great job of getting on top of high pitches this year, whether it's a off-speed pitch. That's a little cutter, little baby slider up letter high. Off the glove of Spangenberg on out into left field for a double.
And the Diamondbacks, who have scored 6 of their 8 runs tonight with 2 outs, have Trumbo in scoring position with 2 down for Goldie. A homer to lead off the third is 8th of the year. He's 1 for 3. Trumbo is homered in back-to-back games, and Goldie is homered in back-to-back games. Along the right field line near the seats. We'll see if Alonso has room. Not quite. This was Goldie to lead off the third on a 3-2 pitch from Odrisaner Despaigne.
Yeah, Alonso couldn't catch this one either. Nobody could. Goldie just tomahawks it into the bullpen out there, waking up the Diamondbacks bullpen. Hopefully that's the only time we'll need him tonight.
Well, Randall Delgado has just started throwing down there in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. 0-2 on Goldie. 2 down, Trumbo at second.
He is looking real hitterish up there at the plate after striking out 4 times yesterday in one ball game. He just quickly rebounded in game 2, hit the home run, had another base hit in that game, and tonight he has looked locked in.
Goldie does occasionally have those deep valleys during which he strikes out in bunches, and going into tonight he had struck out 9 times in his previous 19 at bats. He's giving Vincent all he can handle up there. D-backs leading the National League in 2-out runs. Trying to get one more here. Reaches way down there and gets a piece of it to stay alive.
One of the statistical websites, they say Nick Vincent throws his 2-seam fastball 44% of the time, his cutter 56% of the time. That's 100. But they also list under double X percentage. 3% of the time he throws an unidentified pitch. I think now might be the time to break it out if you're Nick Vincent. It looks to me like Goldie is just about to launch one.
Well, when you've got that 2-seam cutter combination, those are basically fastballs that go in 2 different directions, right?
Yeah, and you know the 2-seamer is 87, 88. The cutter is 84, 85. Not a lot of difference in velocity. Goldie's been right on a few of them.
belts it to center. Myers won't get there. It's another two-out run for the Diamondbacks. Trumbo scores, and the D-backs have scored 9 times. 7th double for Goldie. Back-to-back two-out doubles, and it's 9-zip.
Left field.
What a good battling at bat that time. Ultimately gets a two-seam fastball belt high, middle of the plate, and sends it right back to center field. Oh, Will Myers has been running wind sprints to that fence out there in center all night long.
Well, how many have they hit over his head tonight?
Well, you mentioned it earlier. He plays a very shallow center field, even on a guy like Paul Goldschmidt.
David Peralta. Peralta 2 for 3. Singled and scored in the first. Doubled and scored in the third. I'd love to talk to Vincent after the ball game about that at bat. I mean, Goldie just wears you out. He was ahead 0-2. It was like he was behind in the count.
Yeah, the whole at bat it looked like he was behind in the count. And for Goldie, he's now 3 for 9 this year when he finds himself in an 0-2 count.
9 runs for the D-backs, 7 scored with the 2 outs.
Way above league average.
Holy cow, huh? 1-2. Hard to believe that this was the same team that scored 4 runs in 3 games at Dodger Stadium over the weekend.
And didn't even make a loud out. This is a completely different looking offense.
18 runs yesterday in the doubleheader, 9 tonight. 2-2. It's funny, you look at all the wins. If the Diamondbacks can hang on and win this one, they'll be within a game of 500 at 13-14, and Addison Reed still only has 1 save. They haven't had a lot of whole close games like that where they've held on for the win, the offense, the way it's been going. It's these big leads. A little flare out to center. It's in front of Myers. They will wave Goldie. And that's 10-0 Diamondbacks. Peralta 3 for 4. And another 2-out run. 3 straight 2-out hits against Vincent.
Third baseman, Yasmani Tomas.
Goldie off like a shot at second base. Will Myers was fooled a little bit by that ball in center field. Really played cautiously, backed off the ball, and that's all the opening Goldie needed to turn the corner and score.
RBI chance for Yasmani Tomas, 2 for 3. A pair of singles. He has scored twice. Way up in the air, infield pop-up. Jed Jerko's under it. And that's the inning. But the Diamondbacks add 2 more. And as we go to the 7th, they lead the Padres 10-0. doubles, the most by the D-backs since last May versus the Nationals. Last time they had 7 doubles, 2013, back in April. Also got a couple of home runs, solo shots from Mark Trumbo and Paul Goldschmidt. And boy, Ruby De La Rosa hasn't needed 10 runs the way he's pitched tonight. So far, 6 scoreless innings of 3 hit ball. He has walked 2 and struck out 6. He's retired the last 7 Padres he's faced as he starts the 7th. And they got a little equipment problem out at second base. All the Browns crew wearing the purple throwbacks tonight as well.
Hey fans, it's not too late to get tickets for Mom for this Sunday's game against the Padres. Mother's Day game time is 1:10, and Mom will get to take home a special Mother's Day ladies' tea courtesy of Fry's Food Stores. Buy tickets for Mom now at dbacks.com.
Great job out there. Nice hustle by Grant Trenbritt to get out there and change that second base bag. Big weekend here. Moms and kids run the bases after that Sunday game on Mom's Day here. Don't forget Saturday as well, fans. Josh Cole Mentor bobblehead night, courtesy of Arizona Sports 98.7 FM. Tomorrow night, fireworks. There's a post-game concert. Bronson Arroyo will be playing at the Game 7 Grill. I understand that there's also a pre-game concert.
Of course.
Featuring an unknown guitarist whose work I think for a long time has gone underappreciated.
Joe Bonamassa is going to be there?
No, not him. It's a kid that has learned to play a few power chords.
There you go.
And he rocked the house, as the kids say, last year. Bob Brentley is back, playing with Dan Bickley's band, Whiskey's Quicker. Yasmani Tomas! So a big weekend here at the ballpark.
The fireworks started tonight, actually. Nice play by Yasmani Tomas. You know, guy learning a new position. The ones where you just react and you don't have a lot of time to think are usually the plays you make most easily. Nice dive to the left, got to his feet, fired a strike across the diamond.
He's showing an act for just kind of smothering those, almost falling on it like a fumble. He gets up, recovers. He's got a very strong throwing arm down there. Yonder Alonso has flat out and walked 0 for 1. Now back to the lead story. You and Whiskey's Quicker tomorrow, that's pregame, right?
Yeah. They're going to play a full set, entertaining the fans as they make their way into Chase Field. I get to join for, 2 or 3 songs.
And then Bronson Arroyo will join the band after the ball game for the post-game concert at the Game 7 Grill right out here in the main concourse outside Chase Field. So pregame concert, post-game concert, fireworks, a big day here tomorrow. James Shields against Jeremy Hellickson, second of a 4-game series against these Padres. Then the Josh Cole Mentor bobblehead doll on Saturday. And Sunday, Mom's Day. Moms and the kids run the bases after the ball game, and all the moms get that great T-shirt. Some defensive changes for the Diamondbacks that we got to get to here. A.J. Pollock has checked into the game. He's taken over in center field. There's A.J. Not in the original starting lineup. And Ender Inciarte, who was out there in center, takes over in right for Mark Trumbo. So Peralta, Pollock, Inciarte in the outfield, left to right.
Just love the way Ruby De La Rosa and Tuffy Gosowich recognized very early on in this game that Ruby had the good fastball going. We've seen him get away from that pitch from time to time, just try to trick hitters with his changeup and his slider, but he saw very early on the fastball was going to be a weapon tonight, and he's used it a lot.
2-2 on Alonso. That fastball has just had so much hump to it, and jump, whatever you want to call it.
That's a different twist there. Curveball.
How about it?
Yeah, we saw Tuffy giving the signs. He went through everything Ruby has. Started to go through him a second time. The batter finally stepped out of the batter's box, and ultimately they settled on a 2, which is a curveball. He rarely throws that pitch.
And the changeup is the big swing and miss for him. He's off that time, and it's full 3-2. He did use the breaking ball a little bit more this spring, which the coaches were happy about. Trying to get him from a 2-pitch guy to a 3-pitch guy. And it's full on Yonder Alonso. 3 balls, 2 strikes.
Changeup. Work hard in the second and again in the fourth, but for the most part, he's been very economical tonight, jumping ahead in the count, not wasting a lot of pitches.
Boy, Alonso giving him all he can handle up there. Came into the ball game hitting .341 on the year. 11th pitch of the at-bat coming up. Got him. Ruby De La Rosa wins that battle, his 7th strikeout. He's now set down 9 straight Padres.
Shortstop, Alexi Amarista.
Tuffy called for the fastball initially. Ruby shook it off, went to the changeup once again, and throws a really good one. Looks like a strike to Alonso. That late movement out to the outside corner and way off speed.
Alexi Amarista. He just has so much confidence in that pitch. Padres have not had a base runner since Alonso's 2-out walk back in the 4th. In the air to center field, drifting over toward left center is A.J. Pollock. And Ruby De La Rosa has retired 10 straight. CenturyLink, you're linked to What Next. Here's What's Next, brought to you by CenturyLink. Can Tuffy Gozowish get 4 doubles? We'll find out coming up. We'll offer a full night of NHL and NBA playoff action, plus all the highlights from tonight's Major League games. Fox Sports Live tonight at 10 on Fox Sports 1, or right here on Fox Sports Arizona, right after the Diamondbacks live postgame show. Changes for the Padres, down 10-0 as we start the home half of the seventh. Kevin Quackenbush is out there on the mound. We've seen Despaigne, Vincent, and now Quackenbush. Some defensive changes behind him, but Black always keeps us busy up here. And we'll have those for you in just a moment. Owings goes to Wish Ahmed, 6, 7, and 8 here in the Arizona 7th. Clint Balmas takes over at shortstop, the veteran. And Alexi Amarista has moved from shortstop out to left. There's a strike. So Amarista moves from short to left, replacing Justin Upton. Matt Kemp is out of the game as well. Will Venable takes over in right field. Owings belts it out to left center. And it's off the base of the wall. And it's another Diamondback double. CO's been on base 3 times tonight. A single, a walk, and a double. Our Chaz Roberts air conditioning cool plays of the game, leading the doubles barrage for the D-backs. A guy that didn't have an extra base hit all year, but he's got 3 doubles tonight. Tuffy Gozawish. First D-back with at least 3 doubles in a game since Didi Gregorius last September. So can he make it 4 for 4 with 4 doubles?
Don't stop now.
That's 14 hits for the Diamondbacks. Oh, and 1. Seven doubles for the D-backs. Daniel Hudson now throwing in the Sanderson Ford bullpen. Randall Delgado had been up earlier.
Tuffy comes up with double number 4 in this ball game. It would be a Diamondbacks franchise record all alone.
Diamondbacks tonight 7 doubles for the first time since April 1st, 2013. That was I believe an opening day against the Cardinals that year. The club record is 8 doubles in a ball game. A little roll to Clint Barnes at shortstop. And they finally retire Tuffy Gozawish. Clint Barnes.
Shortstop.
Nick Ahmed 0 for 3. Good minor league note here, BB. We really got some good pitchers down there. Saw Zach Godley for Visalia, 6-0 in 6 starts. Aaron Blair, who we saw in spring training, looked so good for the Diamondbacks. Got the start for Mobile tonight. Ahmed shoots it the other way, right to Venable. And the first place Mobile Bay Bears at 17-10, leading the Southern League South Division. Aaron Blair, 7 innings, gave up just 2 runs, and the Bay Bears won 11-4. Well, Ruby De La Rosa's night will end here. Danny Dorn will take the at-bat. Danny Dorn, 2 for 6 so far to begin his big league career. He's got a pair of walks. And the numbers on Ruby De La Rosa, how about that? 7 scoreless innings, only 3 hits allowed. He walked 2, struck out 7, and retired the final 10 he faced.
I mean, the numbers tell the story, but he also passed the eye test tonight. I mean, that's as good a stuff as we've seen from Ruby, and I'm sure the Padres hitters would second that.
That fastball was electric tonight. Mike Harkey got to be happy with what he saw from his young right-hander. Owings on second after a leadoff double, 2 outs, and here's Dorn. And it's a ball and a strike. Danny Dorn's been a nice left-hand bat off the bench for Chip Hill since he came up from AAA Reno. He was hitting .474 for Phil Nevin down there with a couple of home runs. Here's a strike. And Danny played there all last year. 73 games with the Aces, hit .304 with 12 homers.
2 for 6 as a pinch hitter for Chip Hale with a couple of walks off the bench.
He walked in his first major league at bat, which is a tremendous accomplishment.
Really impressive.
With all the adrenaline he had to have pumping there. After 10 years in the minor leagues. Yes, he went, says Marvin Hudson down there at third. And that's the end of the inning. So Quackenbush strands the leadoff double. We go to the 8th inning here at Chase Field on this Throwback Thursday, and the Diamondbacks have a 10-0 lead.
Fans tonight.
High-speed highlights brought to you by Cox. 8th inning here at Chase Field. And the Diamondbacks beating up on the Padres. Ruby De La Rosa was sensational. 7 innings of shutout ball. Gave up only 3 hits, had 7 strikeouts. And Daniel Hudson is out there to pitch the 8th inning. Jed Jerko, who checked into the ball game at second base midway through, lead it off here. Danny Dorn takes over for Goldie at first. He'll bat 9th pitcher spot now, 3rd in the Diamondback order. And here's Jerko, our first look at the slumping mystery that is Jed Jerko. Another year struggling offensively, 182 with a home run. 23 homers as a rookie 2 seasons ago and really hasn't hit since. Did have a pair of hits in the Padres' 9-1 win at San Francisco yesterday.
And it's another good thing, among others, it's really nice about a big lead like this, a 10-run lead in the 8th inning. Daniel Hudson struggled a little bit lately, ERA 12 even in his last 4 games. An opportunity to get him in there, iron some things out without the game being on the line with every pitch you throw.
That's the way they were able to break Enrique Burgos into the big leagues, and then suddenly he was out there at Dodger Stadium over the weekend pitching in a scoreless game in extra innings, so it can change quickly. But a good opportunity for Huddy to iron some things out here. Jerko, Myers, and Spangenberg here in the San Diego 8th. Looked like he broke his bat. Pollock coming in. And that's the first out.
You know, we had a little fun with the fact that Diamondbacks signed Jared Saltalamacchia, and it seemed to inspire Tuffy at the plate tonight, getting 3 doubles in the ball game. And you know, these pitchers aren't dummies either. I mean, Archie Bradley's going to be coming back off the disabled list soon. Patrick Corbin, not too much longer after that. We saw Robbie Ray pitch a gem yesterday, and you know, if you're a starting pitcher for the Diamondbacks, you have to start feeling the pressure a little bit to go out there and bring your A game.
Yeah, we saw there's a shot of Archie Bradley back in the Diamondback dugout. There was some news on both those pitchers today. from Chip Hale. 0-1 on Will Myers. Chip said today that the Diamondbacks for Archie Bradley are targeting a May 16th return. May 16th is a Saturday game at Philadelphia against the Phillies. That's a week from this Saturday. So that's when they're hoping Archie Bradley will be there. Steve Gilbert from MLB.com reporting as well that Patrick Corbin says he is going to pitch an extended spring training on Monday. And then after that, we'll report to Visalia for a rehab stint. There's Steve Gilbert, the intrepid reporter here, who's with us on the road as well. So we could see Patrick Corbin pitching at Visalia soon, coming off Tommy John surgery, and hopefully Archie Bradley a week from Saturday at Philadelphia. So you're right, Bob. Going to get a little crowded in that rotation and in the bullpen.
Yeah, don't get real comfortable with your position on the team with all those guys coming back off the disabled list. It's all about performance, and what have you done for me lately?
96 misses, and it's full 3-2.
And lately we've seen Ruby De La Rosa and Robbie Ray make a lot of noise like they want to stay in this rotation.
Both of those guys acquired in the offseason by the new front office here because they felt they're hard throwers, guys that miss bats and have top of the rotation stuff, young guys who have high upsides. And that was really the philosophy, to restock the whole system at the major and minor league levels with guys like that, hard throwers who miss bats and can be potentially, if they can work it out, top of the rotation type guys. They have that kind of stuff, that's for sure. Robbie Ray, boy, he was outstanding yesterday. There's the veteran Josh Colmenter, who we had Tuffy Gozowich as a guest Tuesday on our D-backs podcast. You can hear that at dbacks.com and on iTunes. And Tuffy told us it's funny to catch Josh Colmenter because other hitters come up and they just have nothing. Hudson blows Myers away with 97. Any fans, make FoxSportsArizona.com your destination for all your local online sports coverage, because you won't find stuff anywhere else like this. Post-game analysis and reaction from the Diamondback clubhouse tonight. Jack McGruder has a story on the Cuban pitcher Yohan Lopez, who's adjusting very well in the minor league system. Another good guy to watch out for. And did the Cardinals get one of the steals of the NFL draft? All that and more online right now at FoxSportsArizona.com. Spangenberg fouls that one off. Speaking of online, we saw just a moment ago there, all the All-Star Game voting this year is exclusively online. It's a new twist this year. None of them are with the ballots and the punching and the whole thing. It's all online, and you can vote right here at the ballpark. They have some computer voting stations set up here. And you can vote for your Diamondback All-Stars right here at the ballpark. And you can vote a whole bunch of times, 35 in fact. And the voting ends July 2nd. I don't know what that idiot was thinking, because he voted for Adrian Gonzalez, but have to take that guy out back and have a talk with him. Because I think we should have Ralph Kelso talk to him, because that's just not going to stand.
Well, Ralph could make it rain right on the guy.
Spangenberg. 2 balls and a strike. We mentioned at the top of the show, BB, how important it was to keep Will Myers off the bases, leading the major leagues in runs scored. He is 0 for 3 with a walk, and obviously has not scored a run, so mission accomplished there. Spangenberg lifts the 3-1 up in the air to left field. Peralta is there, and Daniel Hudson has a 1-2-3 8th inning. Diamondbacks on Throwback Thursday have a 10-0 lead.
Webb getting set for Diamondbacks Live, presented by CenturyLink. Diamondbacks piling on the Padres right now. And you know what, speaking of piling on, we're going to try to do our part tonight. Todd Walsh and Joe Borowski at the end of the homestand really set the bar high with the tees.
They did.
So, Brandon, we're going to give it our shot right now.
Let's do it.
We're looking at double digits here tonight for the Diamondbacks in runs. But there's something that happened back in the first inning, Brandon, that might have sparked the offense.
Well, there was a couple little things. I mean, they put up a lot of runs, and they got to him early and did a great job just getting ahead and stuff.
One particular at-bat, and it wasn't Goldie or Trumbo, was it?
No.
It wasn't. All right. It wasn't Tuffy Gozwich.
We'll look. We'll see. We'll watch it.
It's all coming your way on the postgame show, guys.
Ender Inciarte, first pitch swinging, left field corner, and it's off the wall. That's a fair ball. That's a home run. It's gone. Ender Inciarte, his first home run of the year. The umpire out there is signaling home run. That's Marvin Hudson. It looked like it hit off the wall.
Marvin's going to get some help. Goes to second base umpire Greg Gibson to see if he had a little better angle out there in shallow center field on that play.
Umpires rotate over, so Hudson comes up from his third base spot, runs up the left field line, and has a look. Greg Gibson and Chad Fairchild, the plate umpire, are there, and now Jim Joyce, the crew chief, going to get involved as well. You heard the loud crash into the wall. Hard to tell if that was the baseball or Alexi Amarista. Now they're going to put him back at second base.
Opposite field drive high in the air. Yeah, that hit right in the middle of the fence. I think the question was, did it hit the screen on the foul pole and bounce back onto the field? Of course, that would be a home run, but yeah, this one clearly hits right next to the 3 and the 330.
Clearly fair. That's also another double for the Diamondbacks. That ties a club record. It's only happened twice before, June of 2009 at San Diego. That's coincidence, not irony. And June of '99 at Montreal. Ender Inciarte, his 8th double of the year and the 8th double for the Diamondbacks tonight. And A.J. Pollock gets his first at bat. Drives it to center. Once again, they back up Myers at the track. And he runs it down. Inciarte, an easy tag, and he'll move up to third. All this off the new Padre pitcher Dale Thayer.
Boy, it sure looks like A.J. Pollock is starting to heat it up. He had a great day yesterday, and that doubleheader must have squared up about 8 or 9 balls in that game and hit that one real hard to straightaway center for a long out.
Well, the pitcher spot with Goldie out of the ball game, double switched for Danny Dorn. Pitcher spot is now third in the Diamondback order, and Flip Pennington will hit for Daniel Hudson here. The numbers on Thayer, a 1.50 ERA in 11 appearances. So Pennington hits for the pitcher. First pitch right to Jerko at second. And Inciarte scores 11-0 Diamondbacks. An RBI for Penny.
Left field, David Rosa.
Brings up David Peralta, who's 3 for 4. 2 singles, a double. He has scored twice. He's got an RBI.
Well, we've used the term feast or famine a lot with this Diamondbacks offense this year, but the fact remains, in wins, they score 7.8 runs per game. That'll go up after tonight. That's the highest in the National League in their wins, adding 318, which is also highest in the National League when they win.
A 4-hit night for David Peralta.
Hit it over the shift. Little soft line drive out into shallow right field. Have a night. Singled in the first, doubled and scored in the third, singled again in the 6th, drove in a run with that one, and now a single into right field in the 8th.
I got an idea. How about Throwback Fridays?
I'm all for it.
We can't change these uniforms now.
Man.
Yasmani Tomas. Tomas 2 for 3, a pair of singles. He scored twice. 2 for 4, pardon me. 11 runs on 16 hits. 13 runs on 19 hits in game 1 yesterday. Tomas, holy cow, what a stop by Alonso, a shovel pass. Thayer hustling to first, can't cover the bag in time, and Peralta's in at third. Yonder Alonso was hurt. And keep in mind, he has battled serious wrist injuries and forearm injuries the last 2 seasons. It looked like he may have injured his shoulder here.
Right shoulder, you see him trying to protect it there as he goes down to his back right away. You could tell something just wasn't right in there. He's in obvious pain.
Yonder Alonso, he's only played about 180 games the last 2 seasons. 2 years ago, he was hit by a pitch on his right hand, a fractured metacarpal bone. Last year, wound up needing surgery to repair a torn tendon in the top of his right forearm. And he leaves here tonight with another injury. They ruled out a base hit for Yasmani Tomas, who is 3 for 5 now. Will Middlebrooks will come in and take over at first.
For San Diego, now at first base, number 11, Will.
That's too bad for Yonder Alonso. He's just been through so many injury issues the last 2 years. He's healthy, swinging the bat well this year for the Padres. You hate to see that. A guy that's been through so much, hitting .341 coming into the ball game tonight, and now leaves with an injury. Chris Owings has a pair of hits and a walk. He's been aboard 3 times tonight. An RBI single and a run scored in the first. Walked and scored in the 5th. Doubled his last time up.
That's a good look from behind home plate and low. You could see the first pitch to CO, the slider, and then Thayer came back with a fastball. You could really tell the velocity difference and the movement on that slider on the first pitch. Another slider.
A look from behind home plate here at Chase Field. Diamondbacks now with 11 runs on 17 hits. You've got Peralta at third, Tomas at first, with 2 outs for Chris Owens. And Peralta aboard after his 4th hit tonight. David Peralta, 4 for 5, the 4 hits, a new career high for David. He's not going to want to give up that purple jersey either. Tomas 3 for 5. Norris hangs on to the foul tip, and Thayer gets the strikeout. But the Diamondbacks get another run, and we go to the 9th inning. They're leading 11-0.
Again, Matt Williams' final game as a major league player came on May 31st, 2003. Sent him up there to pinch hit for Tony Womack. He hit a double. Later scored. Shakes hands with Gonzo. Walks off the field with Gracie. What a great career for Matt Williams. The beginning of a great career as a manager in the big leagues. That was one of the toughest things I ever had to do. Call Matt Williams in the office and explain what was going on. And much like I did with Mark Grace, you deserve to go out on your terms. How do you want to handle this? Do you want to pinch hit? Do you want to start the ball game? How do you want to go? And Matty said, I'll come off the bench and pinch hit.
And Matt Williams and his Washington Nationals are in here for 3 games starting on Monday. Evan Marshall will work the 9th. Another chance to get Evan Marshall straightened out. He had a very rough weekend against the Dodgers in L.A. As the losing pitcher on both Saturday and Sunday. Will Venable. We'll finally get a look at Will Venable. He has not played much this year and not hit much. 4 for 29 on the season at 138. Only 2 extra base hits all year, but both home runs. Marshall jumps ahead 0-2. Venable, since his last base hit, 0 for 14 with 7 strikeouts. And he's become a forgotten man with all these new outfielders. He started only 4 games all year. Evan Marshall so big for the Diamondbacks last year as a rookie. So many big outs. Worked 2/3 of an inning in Saturday's game at Dodger Stadium. Gave up 2 runs on 3 hits. And then the walk-off homer Sunday against Yasmani Grandal. Ahmed throws him out, 1 away. Well, we've been looking at some Diamondback flashbacks on this Throwback Thursday all night long. How about this? The 2001 D-backs, which is not possessive. Field of Dreams. You know what? That manager, Bremley.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. What?
That's respect.
Bob Bremley.
Not only an M instead of an N, they tacked that second E in there at the end.
And of course, speaking of managers, Craig Counsell, that's misspelled as well, the new Brewers skipper. So,
had a few of them right.
Gonna have to throw that one out.
It's the thought that counts.
Yes, that's of course correct. Clint Barmes, the veteran, 273 on the year. His 13th season in the big leagues. He started 8 games this year for Bud Black at shortstop. 95 for Marshall. First of 4 against the Padres. Game 2 tomorrow. Diamondback Live pregame show comes your way at 6 o'clock. James Shields, one of their big offseason acquisitions, goes for San Diego. Jeremy Hellickson for the Diamondbacks. Saturday's game here is a 5:10 start. That's Chase Anderson versus Tyson Ross. D-backs have still not named a starter for Sunday's series finale here. Andrew Kashner supposed to pitch for San Diego. Barnes skies one to left. Peralta near the warning track, has it for the second out. And with a pitcher's spot up now, 2 outs in the 9th, we'll get a look at rookie sensation Austin Hedges, who was just called up from the minor leagues this week. 1 for 5 to begin his major league career. Just 22 years old, an outstanding defensive catcher. And has for the last several seasons been regarded as one of the minor league's top catching prospects. Swings at the first pitch. Tomas at third. And the Diamondbacks take the opener of this 4-game series 11-0 as they hold the Padres to only 3 hits. San Diego did not have a base runner, in fact, after Yonder Alonso's 2-out walk in the 4th, and the Diamondbacks win 11-0.
Strong starting pitching and timely hitting. That's a pretty good formula for a victory, and the Diamondbacks had it all tonight. Ruby De La Rosa was outstanding, got a solid inning out of Daniel Hudson and Evan Marshall, and the offense just exploded against this Padres pitching staff.
Led by Tuffy Gozuish right there, who had 3 doubles, 3 for 4 for Tuffy. He had 4 RBIs. The Diamondbacks get their 3rd shutout of the season. They've now won 3 in a row and are within 1 game of 500, now at 13-14 on the year. So a whole lot to talk about. Let's start Diamondbacks Live, the postgame show. Brandon Webb is standing by with Jody Jackson. Jody.
Thanks a lot, Steve and Bob. Jody Jackson, Brandon Webb, and we are getting set for the postgame show here. A complete victory for the Arizona Diamondbacks, and what a way to start off this homestand. And Brandon, we are going to pick up on that tease, and without telling me what at bat in the first inning were you very impressed with and you thought was a key to this victory? Tell me about what you liked from the offense tonight overall.
Well, I know they've been struggling hitting a little bit, and Chipper went out and gave a little speech, got him going in yesterday at Coors Field, and they brought it over, and they delivered tonight too, and kept it going. That was great to see.
Must have been a pretty good message from the manager. We will revisit that as well. Throwback Thursday. Good to see Augie Ojeda, Junior Spivey, and then Ruby De La Rosa goes out and pitches 7 strong innings. The Diamondbacks pitch a shutout and provide the offense to boot here on this Thursday night. Post-game show coming your way in moments. Stay tuned right here on Fox Sports Arizona.